flowing. A homogenous culture is necessary for sustaining a free society. I agreed with this one. And again, it might seem contradictory to my previous comments about tolerating some diversity of opinion and perspective, but I think this is actually part of the homogeneity that you need. Like what my society can't tolerate, if I want to maintain a free society, is allowing a highly antisocial monoculture come in and sort of be a subunit within it that then sort of grows and acts as sort of like a parasite against the larger whole. And so I think that when I say I agree with this is not me saying that we have to be highly homogenous or everyone has to believe the same religion or everyone has to believe some of the same things, but we have to agree on certain fundamentals, and this implies some amount of homogeneity.
We do, but I mean, like, can't we allow for this experimentation within our national borders? I mean, it's just like with, going back to the Amish, again, they have a homogenous culture, but they couldn't exist without us. They need us. Without the umbrella of protection that is provided, their homogenous culture would not exist.
Well, so okay, the Amish are an interesting question. When they're 0.5% of your nation, it's like this is an interesting experiment. Sure. If the Amish were 20% of our nation, or 30% of our nation, and I'll be honest, I'm not an expert at the Amish, I'm Amish and all of the things that they, believe, but they clearly have a vastly different culture. And so if the Amish, and by the way, I've seen some of the projections. I do believe we're going to have like a 57% Amish America in the year 2176 or something like that. These charts are crazy. So like the Amish in terms of reproductive success are a very successful culture, but an Amish America would not be America. And so I suppose this is maybe quibbling because maybe, if the Amish are here, aren't we already not homogenous? And so to me, maybe this is more about to what degree you're tolerating, heterogeneity and extreme diversity. Because at a small scale, it's like, look, yeah, we can handle, honestly, if a 0.5% of the population is actually communist or whatever, like we'd be fine.
Yeah.
Like that's not the degree of which
you talk about like these isolated communities. And the easiest example to look at that is like the Somalis of Minnesota. Sure. But there's also the Jews of Brooklyn. Right, yeah, they create those same kinds of insular, isolated communities, and they try and enforce their own laws on the streets, right? Just like in some communities, in Muslim communities in the United States, they'll try and enforce Sharia in the streets, and I don't think that could be tolerated, but I tolerate it more from the Jews of Brooklyn because they're far less violent.
Well, yeah, but they're very disruptive.
I don't look at them the same. The Jews of Brooklyn are very insular, very isolated, but they don't start shit. Okay,
people would probably debate that.
There's no giant Jewish daycare stealing millions of dollars from taxpayers. So I don't treat them the same, even though they're both very insular.
The Jews are better at paperwork. We don't know this. I'm not an expert at this story, so I don't want to go too off on a limb here. But there have been like the Jews have taken over some of these school districts and some of these local towns.
Yeah,
and
they put up like these like stanchions and things like that to like say this is like our territory,
and like that's
you have to wear certain clothing and things like that in the streets. Completely disagree.
That's very disruptive.
Yeah,
I mean, and I think it would be better if these people were. I give them their own nation. Like
this is why it's time for us to annex Cuba and Alberta.